Hey everybody. Today I want to talk a little bit about redundancy. I finally got a little bit of a backup circulation system going on here in my brackish tank, and it's as a result of having a near catastrophic oversight. I'm not sure how everything worked out okay in the long run, but it did. And so today we put another power head in the tank, and I want to talk a little bit about that. So first of all, what I mean by redundancy is multiple systems doing the same thing so that if one of them fails, the other one will continue doing it. And in an aquarium, especially the larger aquariums, circulation is paramount. You have to have water moving around the tank or you run into real problems. Again, how I didn't run into real problems in this scenario I'm going to unfold in a moment is beyond me, but somehow I got through it okay. Not unscathed, but okay. You have to have circulation. You need it for waste removal, you need it for gas exchange, you need it just for the simple keeping enough oxygen in the water, keeping your animals alive, basic stuff like that. And in a smaller tank, like my 10-gallon tanks, even the 20-gallon tanks, while I do often have an air stone or some sort of secondary circulation source, a 10-gallon tank's not that big of a deal. Once you get up to 40 gallons, you really should have some sort of secondary circulation device if your filter breaks or some grit gets caught up in the impeller, or the filter gets so clogged that it's not really moving the water anymore, or you forget to plug the filter back in after you've done a water change or something like that. And if that happens, you'll have a secondary source of circulation that just keeps the water moving around. It won't be filtering the water necessarily, but it will keep it moving around the tank, and hopefully you'll notice that, hey, well, the filter's not turned on or not plugged in or whatever, and it'll buy you enough time to get in there and get your filter up and running again. So having that secondary circulation source is always a good idea. When I did a water change on this tank one time, I plugged the filter back in, but I have the canister filter, and after I put the hoses back in, I never opened the valve and locked that into place, which allows the water to flow. So I plugged it in and I could hear the impeller moving and everything, and then I just walked away and left that valve closed. So it was basically just swirling water around, and I left it that way literally for months before I got in there to do my next water change. And that's when I realized that something's not right here. The filter's not circulating, and I saw the little valve was closed. And so all that time, this was a stagnant tank. And I wound up having issues with my puffer. I had to medicate the fish, and again, he recovered and everything was okay in the long run, but it wasn't without issue. And so just having that secondary circulation source, whether it's a small power head or an air stone, anything like that is going to be a benefit. And in this tank, what I put in it was a very small power head. In fact, I liked it so much I bought a second one. You can use these kind of power heads as little pumps for water features if you want. That right there is the unit itself, and I will show you a little clip of what it looks like in the tank. So you can see it's really small, does not take up much space at all, and it comes with these extra little fittings so you can put different hoses. These are basically the hose adapter fittings, and you can put various size hoses on it. I left the end open, and so it's just against the glass. It sucks water in here and it moves it out through there, and that moves 80 gallons per hour, which is not very much. That might sound like a lot, but it's really not much. The power heads I have in some of my other tanks are considered nano power heads, and those are 240 gallons per hour. 80 gallons per hour is just a little, you could have a little tabletop fountain with a little dribble of water coming up out of the top of it. This is what would do that. In fact, I have a cat bowl upstairs that's like a cat drinking water fountain, and it's got a pump in there similar to something like this. So it doesn't move a ton of water, but it does keep water moving around the tank if you forget to plug your filter back in or something like that. So I'll put a link down below to this. In fact, I have a new Amazon storefront, and one of the sections on there is all about filtration and related equipment. So I have a bunch of different power heads and stuff listed on there. If you want to check out my Amazon storefront and check out that filtration section, you will find this power head and a lot of other power heads. I personally like the Coralia by Hydor. I think they're fantastic. I've been using those for years and I love them. So check those out if you're interested. And again, doesn't have to be a power head. Airstone, you can have 2 filters on the tank, you know, have a small hang on the back on one side and then maybe a sponge filter in there with an Airstone. There's multiple ways to have redundancy in your tank as far as water circulation, but you really need to have some sort of secondary source of water circulation should your filter fail or get clogged or grit gets caught up in the impeller. It happens, believe me, it happens to your hang on the back filters. I've never had one of my canister filters fail in that regard. I have had them get clogged. You know, the intake gets so much stuff on it, it's not really moving water anymore. You know, again, it happens. You do get into situations where your filter is not moving enough water anymore. And so having that secondary source of water movement can be really, really critical for your aquarium. So let me know what you think. Give me your thoughts. Do you have a power head in your aquarium? Do you set it up a certain way? Do you prefer Airstones? Do you not even like having the filter on there at all? Do you just like having an Airstone or a very simple setup? Let me know down in the comments below. I'd be interested to hear your thoughts. I'm going to say thanks for watching that one. Don't forget to check out my other channel, Dan's Outdoors and More. As I mentioned, I do now have an Amazon storefront, and of course I sell merch now. So if you're interested in any of that, you can check it out. So thanks for watching. I'll see you real soon in the next one.